it's a hypothetical. Listen. I'm not claiming that you are anything like that.
No,
I'm not anything like that. It's just
it's all in the discussion. It's all in the discussion for the purpose. Nobody here is weird.
He also like interrupts a lot too, Indian Jesus. Like, so Emmett would get like kind of visibly frustrated too sometimes.
Weird. Well, as far as I don't know you that well, but I will vouch for you. Nobody here is weird. We are having intellectual discussion. But yeah, I think that the fact of the matter is, if we talk about, well, this shouldn't be legal because it makes society worse, then that's a slippery slope. Because there's like I said, there's a lot of things in society that are not good for us, but because individual liberty supersedes that, that's what if you remember a while back when was it de Blasio or whatever New York mayor tried to ban 32-ounce drinks because of the sugar intake or whatever. That's just un-American.
I think it's de Blasio.
Yeah, that's just not how we do things.
Was it Cuomo?
But what's the limit though to that? Like, what's the limit? Because they'll say like, well, they wanted to ban this. That's not how we do things. But we ban a lot of stuff in this country. There's a lot of things we're not allowed to do. This is not a completely free country where we're just allowed to do whatever we want. So whenever they default to the argument of that's just not what we do here in America, it like doesn't make any sense. It's like, well, okay, so we have to try to find out where's the line of morality then. Like, why is it bad to ban sugary drinks and prostitution? But it's not bad to ban other things. Like that's where that's what we need to figure out here. And by the way, too, while sugary drinks are unhealthy for you, it doesn't corrupt your it's not bad for your soul like prostitution is.
No, definitely. It was either de Blasio or the guy before him. I forget. But so that's what I'm kind of getting hung up on. And Adam brings up a good point that it's rather natural for in cultures for men to have mistresses. And so that's not the same thing. But if we're talking about going outside extramarital relationships, that's not something that is unheard of. Again, not saying it's good morally.
No, I agree with you. I understand what you're saying. Okay. Let's refocus on we need to go to the moral claim, and I need to be able to understand your moral standard. So I'm gonna try to ask the question one more time when it comes to the empirical claims, because
you were asking about the methodology, right?
I was a full empiricist. Okay, there was a time when I couldn't, like when I was like 17, when I said, if I don't actually know, I can say I know. And most of the time, what I answered to any question was possibly, because that was the only answer I could give when I kind of believed something to be true at that time. So it's possibly true because that's the only way I can think about it when it's pure empiricism, right? But if I'm talking about society and I'm making prescriptions on society, and I want to know if the PDF files are actually bad or good when it comes to empirical claims, what I need to make that legal so I can study for X amount of years in order for me to have data on it and say, hey, this is good and bad. Or bad.
I would say no, because we already have an understanding of consent and childhood development and all of that stuff. So because we've already studied that stuff with the proper methodology, then that's already what we are using to say that PDFs are bad. So the fact of the matter is that, if we, so you were asking about the methodology, if we didn't know that whether or not PDF activity was bad for society, then yes, the methodology would unfortunately have to be something like taking looking at children who have been abused and getting, I don't know, whatever aspects that we determine we use as a metric, and then measure those across the sample size. And then we would see, okay, so 90% of children who have been abused have X, Y, and Z issues. So it's probably not good for PDFs.
Let me read that for you. K2 keep on trucking with the $2. It says it's holding hands gay. focus on cap letters, and the answer is absolutely.
Well, it depends if we're talking about men and women.
No, because it makes you happy.
Ooh, confluence! Confluence! Oh my god!
Yeah, that was pretty funny of it. But I wonder if any of these atheists are the people that are arguing for like prostitution. I wonder if they actually know why we made it illegal, because that would probably be a good place to start, right? Like, why is this illegal? Like, a lot of us were here in modern day and we think that we know things are the way they are, but we don't exactly know why. So I wonder if any of them actually studied why prostitution's illegal, or did they just were like, no, it's probably because of the Christians. It's probably because Christians made it illegal.
Bro, how did you not go there? Oh, shout out to K2, our new sponsor of the stream. Don't forget, guys, we do have a stream goal.
Yeah, I agree too, Ken. Like, they always say, like, yeah, I agree that it's immoral, but they should be able to do it legally anyway. It's like, what? Like, even Indian Jesus here, like, he'll say, like, yeah, listen, I agree, it's wrong. We should shame it. Like, so he's for shaming prostitution and the act of doing it, right? He's for shaming it, but he thinks people should have the right to do it for some reason. It's like, what? Why though? Why? He added the abuse that presupposes something bad, but he says we do need to have a study to know. So in the worldview, they would need to make it legal to study it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they would have to make it legal to study it.
This peanut butter is empty. We can get him some more.
But again, like, does he know why they did it in the first place? Like, why did they make it illegal in the first place? Was it just because of the Christians, or was there actual reasons? I mean, because I could think, like, yeah, listen, and Emmett does a good job of arguing it, but he's like, it emboldens like the sex traffickers and the people in the industry, like the gang members, the cartels and stuff. And also like it's harmful all around. And listen, if we can see too that it's wrong for a woman to sleep around with a lot of guys for free, if a woman just sleeps around with a lot of men, if we concede that it's wrong, then obviously it follows that it would be wrong to monetize that as well, because you're going to have that financial incentive to then sell your body out. And listen, if a woman feels bad for sleeping with a lot of men for free, like, well, they're also going to feel bad for monetizing their, like, selling their own body pretty much. Like, again, it's just something that's not healthy for the soul.
K2 got us started. Thank you so very, very much, sir.
Shout out to Abe Dinkus, because that was his idea in one of the debates. So yeah.
Thank you, sir. So I'm saying a little confused. Are we talking about the hypotheticals of studying whether or not PDF files should be studied to determine if there's a positive impact on society? I think that's where what the question was, right?
Yeah, what I'm trying to do is to try to figure out a threshold on where can we get the empirical on the ideas that I'm having is we have an idea of what is kind of good or bad, especially when in certain specific cases, like PDF files, we find that disgusting. Most of like 90% of people find it disgusting. So
yeah, I agree, Abe Dinkus. Harm of the soul is a thing. I would say it's as bad as physical harm. Yeah, it really is. It's what leads people to, and also to, like, it's what leads people to, like, addictions and stuff. So, like, it also lead to women being addicted to substances or alcohol or something, just to numb themselves in order to do these type of things. So it's also, which would also lead to physical harm, because you would be physically harming your body with that. But yeah, like, imagine if we're like, as men, like, men doing that. Like, if you sold yourself, um like, if you sold yourself and lowered yourself for money. So for instance, if, let's say, people paid me to allow me for them to kick me in the balls or something, or humiliate me in public, like, that would be hurting my soul. Like, it would be devaluing me as a person, even if I'm consenting to it. And it wouldn't be healthy.
I'm trying to find that threshold where we can say, hey, this is good and this is bad, and then I'm using that as a way to get to the prescription when it comes to moral claims. So if you're a pure empiricist, you would need to have data in order to be able to say this is good or this is bad, because that is the basis of the moral claim. And if you have something that you really don't want to have data on because it entails bad stuff happening, then you need to go there to have like an idea of where you get that information.
Well, yeah, obviously, Wikimoto, that would hurt me more than the soul. But I mean, if you devalue yourself just for money reasons, it's, you know what I'm trying to say. Like there are male equivalents too that would be just as harmful for us internally.
Information.
I mean, I don't disagree with you, but again, I think that once we do the studies that say, okay, we understand that children can't consent at a certain age. That's why we have the age.
And also, what studies were conducted to determine that this is harmful to children? I don't think it was studies. I think it was just the human experience that, we saw, like, hey, if children were, graped or essayed, that, they grew up with a lot of issues as they were adults. And so I don't think it was a study necessarily. I think we just saw it happening.
Of consent. And then if you break that, then we don't need a study to see why you broke the thing that we already established, because we already established it. And so what is the establishment in prostitution that is so bad that it needs to be illegal?
Well, I would go back into the idea of that there's different parts of it. For example, the idea of actual security for the woman, so she's not being ridden with disease, for example. There is the idea of family. There's the idea of
well, let's take those one at a time. So the her safety then. So if,
one of them is her safety,
yeah, absolutely. But I also think that if you're a woman and you're going on a date, then there's an aspect of safety there as well. I mean, date ARPE, as we call it on this channel, that's a thing. That's a phrase, because it's women going on dates and then getting ARPE. And so should dating be illegal?
What?
No. What
a stupid thing to say. So should dating be illegal? Like, dude, come on.
Okay. So
then the safety of it shouldn't affect the
well,
legality.
First of all, would that be a crime? That they go on a date that they get R-word?
Yes.
Okay, I agree with you.
Yeah, I'm glad we agree.
So if that is a crime, because we're talking about the safety of the woman, that it's putting, she shouldn't be at risk going on a date if she's trying to find somebody that they want to spend the rest of life on. But if you're going on a date to with a specific intent of getting R-word, do you think that should be illegal? That's the intent of.
If you're asking if a man intentionally goes on a date with, if a man goes on a date with the specific intention to R-word her.
If a woman goes on a date with a specific intent to get R-word, should she be able to?
I don't think that it works like that, because if she's doing it, then she's giving consent, and our base.
It's gonna be brutal, dude.
Can you play? So play that out for me.
But is that possible though? Now this is just a question for him. Is that possible though, for a woman to want to get raped? Because the whole point is that they don't want it. That's what makes it grape, is that they don't want it. But if they want it, then is it grape anymore? That's the only thing.
What is the situation that you're actually asking about? Should it be legal or not?
Let's say that there's just two people, okay, in the world out. They meet online. One of them is like, yeah, I want to do all of these crazy things to you, and the other one says, the man says, I want to do all these crazy things to you, and the other one says, oh my god, I am getting feedback.
Oh, from me?
Yeah, from you. I think it's the thing you are sharing.
This? Let's see. Get rid of that.
Check if you're. It was that. I think you're sharing your desktop audio somehow.
Yeah, there's nothing coming from that. All right. Well, wait. So when I add, you're getting an echo now?
Hello. Yes.
Weird.
Maybe you have your own stream open.
Nope.
I'm gonna skip forward a little bit while
I'll just share without Prostitution.
Well, again, I'm trying to figure out what is the threshold in the morality. Like, I'm trying to figure out what is the threshold in the consent. Because right now we were like, hey, this is what I think this should be. This should be a possibility for the people, and it's moral because of consent. So I need to know what is the threshold of consent. I can go ahead and say, I have all of these things I consent to, and I have all of these things I don't consent to. Okay? That would be preference based on whatever I want at the end of the day. But when we're talking about society, especially when we're talking about a moral axiom, where we're saying we're going to make rules in society that all people should follow, we're going to make them in accordance to not only our cultural values. I need to be able to say, and the reason why this is this is a just law is because it follows X axiomatic presupposition. That would be in your worldview. In my worldview, it would be
right. I guess
it's
that's what you're
because it
trying to
follows.
extract. I'm just
Yeah,
not following how we're getting there.
yeah. I need to
So
know what is
again,
the. I need to know
so my
what is the
understanding of your
threshold.
so my understanding of your question is the woman is going out on a date, and she specifically wants to engage in an R-word fantasy.
No,
So
that right now we agree, or we said that's fine because it's consent. Okay. We're
so, sorry, I
now
didn't
it's
realize
a self-delete fantasy. And
it's
you
a
said
self-delete
no.
fantasy. So she's saying, I want you to delete me.
Mm-hmm.
That's the situation. Should that be legal?
Yeah.
Is what you're asking me.
Yeah, that's what
No,
I'm
that should
asking.
not be legal.
But
because
why? They're
then
both
we
Yeah.
get into because then we get into what's the terminology? I don't know, but the mental state of being able to do that. I don't think that we are at a place where we can, at least legally, determine if somebody is mentally able to say, yes, I want to end my life. Now, I mean, hey, go to Canada and
So then he brings up this thing like, well, we have to mentally evaluate them to see if they know what they're doing when they say they want to end their own life here. Like, oh, they have to get a mental evaluation. Okay, well, if a woman wants to sell her body for money and let a bunch of different strangers sleep with her and stuff, does that not require some kind of mental evaluation? Because I would think like, hey, is everything okay? Like if someone wanted to do that. So I like with that, it's like, well, no, it shouldn't be legal because they're not mentally well. Well, what if they are mentally well? What if they're fine, then he just don't want to live anymore? Like, why? By his morality, in order for someone to want to self-delete themselves or hire someone to delete them, under his morality, well, that must mean something's mentally wrong with them, and so therefore they need to get an evaluation. But well, what if they're not? What if they're fine? They're like, no, I want to do this. I just don't want to live anymore. I'm tired of this. I just don't want to live. You know, why does that require mental evaluation? But if a woman wants to sell her body, hey, that's a-okay.
depression is enough. Do you you're in the US, right?
Yeah, I'm in the US, in Utah.
Yeah. And so again, I think that you're bringing up a lot of different things that are talking about why maybe prostitution is not good, and I agree with that. But I stop at the legal aspect.
Yeah. Okay. We'll move there in a second. I can agree with you, specifically what you said. I would go a little bit further when it comes to that because I cannot. If I am an empiricist, what is the way that I can measure mental states, right?
You,
let's say that I'm a full empiricist. How in the world can I measure mental states?
I mean, we have, I trust me, I have a degree in psychology, and I know how bullshit.
Oh my gosh! Of course, he has a degree in psychology. Of course, it makes sense.
Soft science it is, but there is a lot. I mean, we look into neuroscience, and there are hard scientific aspects of psychology. So I mean, we have brain mapping on what certain feelings look like when you map the brain with fMRI scans.
Okay, I can agree with you on that. Okay, but the question becomes once again, because we're talking about a mental state. So how do we measure a mental state when we're trying to make decisions?
fMRI.
So
fMRI,
that's the only way to do it.
A much softer way is talk therapy, psychiatrist, psychologist. I don't know what are you trying. I don't know what you're trying to get to.
Well, if I'm an empiricist and I want to make an idea.
See, and then like he did this a lot, Emmett, where he pretended like he didn't know what you're talking about too. And I noticed that he always did that when you got him cornered. Whenever you got him cornered, he would pretend he didn't hear you, or that he doesn't know what you're talking about. Like, so what is this? What does this have to do with what we're talking about? I don't get it. I don't understand. And I noticed that he did that every time that you had him. Because I remember thinking, like, dude, Emmett totally has this guy now. And then he would be like, "Well, so wait, what did you say? I didn't hear you. Can you repeat it? So what does that have to do with the conversation?" Like he would do tactics like that.
Of whether or not a
good faith
person
at all.
should self-delete, then the only, I would need to have a way to measure if that person is telling the truth or is not telling the truth, or if he actually wants that to happen or not want that to happen.
Yeah, so we have psychological professionals who would be able to sit down with you. And again, I didn't even know this, but there's states, there are states in this country where that is the process, and definitely with Made in Canada, then you you go through these processes. And again, I don't agree with that because I have my own.
By the way, is this dude in Canada? Is he in Canada? Because that would also explain a lot, dude. What is with Canada? Like, I like this. See, this is why I don't want Canada to be the 51st state. It's pretty much a big, cold version of California. We don't need any more of these morons in America.
Spiritual ideas about life and all that stuff. But again, when it comes to the law, I don't necessarily see why that should be illegal. I think it should be heavily shamed.
No, I think it should be completely legal. There are things in the world that we are meant to protect, and life is one of those things we are meant to protect. It should be illegal for it should be illegal for people to self-delete, and that would be like there would be consequences in the idea.
He's in New York. Okay, the budding of the neo caliphate of New York.
That's off. Right? If you see a person that is like, you know what, I'm done with life and I need to do X thing, and you don't call an authority that will take that person and bring them the help they need, that should be a direction of the duty that you have towards that person, that person will not self-delete. And I would say that it's pretty much the same in different areas of the world. Like if you're depressed, I don't know if you can agree with me. It's fine if you don't. But if you're depressed, the solution to the depression that you are feeling per se would not be, hey, just take this, take these 9mm pill, put in right next to your put it on your temple, and that's gonna be the solution, right? I don't think that would be the case.
Maybe I'm trying to jump ahead too far. I'm very confused of what this has to do with the conversation.
Oh, well, okay. Now, when we're talking, I'm going to bring it back. So let's say that I have a moral standard of things that we want. In your case, it's going to be a little bit harder to get to the moral standard. That's what I was trying to make this line of questioning. But I do have a moral standard of what I would consider to get a person or have a society that is running in a better way. And one of those things that I believe helps society to run better, and if I want that is better, I want to remove the activities that are considered to be wrongful. In this case, I would say one of those activities that actually hurt women it actually hurts them, not only socially but also in their health and in their spirit, would be prostitution. So I want completely gone.
I missed that the first time listening to this, because I was like, man, I'm surprised Emmett's never brought up the spirit or the soul thing, but he did bring up the spirit right there. So good job, Emmett.
As far as I can, gone from society.
Fair enough, but we know for a fact that that's not going to happen. Like prostitution.
And I hate it when that happens too. Like they'll just say, well, that's not going to happen. Like when I was debating First Amender, like he would just say, well, that doesn't happen, or that's not going to happen. That's always like that's the best that they've got. It even happened in that debate with freaking Soy Pill and Chuck that they did recently, I believe, about man, what was it they were debating about? But they would just say the same thing too, where it was just like, yeah, but that's not going to happen, or yeah, you could try it, but it's not going to happen. It's like, well, how do you know? Like, who says? You just say that? Like, can you demonstrate it's not going to happen, or what?
prostitution is always going to exist. And so
yeah. See, he just kept saying that too. That was another thing that irritating. He would just say, "We know we just can't get rid of prostitution. It's just always going to be there." So Emmett's like, well, "Why not?" Well, let's see what he says.
Because look at the world. We have every society ever has done it, and it's been illegal in a lot of places for a long time, and that doesn't stop it. So people are going to do.
We should just in that case it would be
better.
And then that's another freaking cope thing too that they like to do. Like when we talk about making something illegal or whatever, they'll say like, "Well, it's not going to stop it." It's like with abortion, they say the same thing. Well, that's not going to stop the abortions. So it's like, well, with that logic, then we should have no laws then, because hey, we have murder laws, right? But people still murder each other. So therefore, with that logic, we shouldn't. We should just not have murder laws then, you know? Or their favorite go to is prohibition. He brings it up too. He brings up prohibition too. And it's like, oh, okay. So then therefore we shouldn't make it illegal because, well, it's just going to happen anyway.
Hold on. So wouldn't it be better if we know that people are going to do this, whether it's legal or illegal? Wouldn't it be better to legalize it so then we can put the proper resources in to make sure that the women who do choose to engage in it are much safer and they're not just, stuck to a pimp?
No, because it's not safe.
Yeah.
I know that it's not safe, but it's less safe when they're doing it illegally. So
now,
dude, like think of it like corn. Like corn is legal, but that's not safe for women either. Like it's still not safe, and there's regulation. Corn is regulated, but it's still not safe for women.
Safety. If your concern is safety, then it's safer to be a legal prostitute in Nevada than it is to be a streetwalker in New York City. No. How?
What is it? Why is it safer in Nevada, according to you?
Because there's infrastructure, there's testing, there's companies that make sure they have people that register with the government. It may not. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's definitely more safe than just being on your own.
So you're going to a regulatory state that is going to tell you what you should and shouldn't do.
Exactly.
In this case, to make it safer, but you don't think that same regulatory state that's telling you what you should and shouldn't do can't do anything when it comes to abolishing it?
What do you mean?
See, that's what he does. See, that was great. Like, I love that Emmett said that. I was like, yes, thank you, because that's the point that I was thinking of too. Yeah, he wants the government to stay out of it, whether it makes he wants the government to stay out of it, but then he also wants the government to get into it to regulate it. It's like, well, it doesn't make any sense. So the government can't make it. The government can't stop it, and they shouldn't stop it. But the government should step in to make sure that everyone's safe. It doesn't make any sense, and so he knows that, and he goes. So he resorts to his like, what do you mean? Like he starts to play stupid, which is what a lot of the lefties do. They play stupid.
But it's supposed to be regulating all of these hard.
Sorry,
when they're doing it illegally. So
right now,
if your concern is safety, then it's safer to be a legal prostitute in Nevada than it is to be a streetwalker in New York City. No. How?
What is it? Why is it safer in Nevada, according to you?
Because there's infrastructure, there's testing, there's companies that make sure they have people that register with the government. It may not. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's definitely more safe than just being on your own.
So you're going to a regulatory state that is going to tell you what you should and shouldn't do. In this case, to make it safer, but you don't think that same regulatory state that's telling you what you should and shouldn't do can't do anything when it comes to abolishing it?
What do you mean?
Yeah, so you're saying, well, in Nevada, we have all of these harlots, okay? And they are regulated by the government. But the government that is supposed to be regulating all of these harlots cannot get rid of them. It's impossible for the government. They can regulate them, but they cannot get rid of them. Right?
That was my argument. So if we can't get rid of it, then why not make it say this is the same argument that we used for marijuana.
Why would I believe that they can regulate them if they cannot get rid of them?
Yeah.
What?
Why?
See? You do what? But yeah, like, so the government is not powerful enough to stop it, but the government's powerful enough to regulate it. Like, oh yeah, they won't listen, they'll do it anyway since it's illegal. So we should regulate it and have the rules to it. And they're all of a sudden, the people that were going to break the law anyway are all of a sudden going to obey the law.
Would I
Regulation and
believe that the
elimination are
government
not the same things.
why would I believe that the government is able to actually regulate them if they cannot eliminate them? What do they need to regulate
Because
them?
elimination is a complete thing. To eliminate it means that there's zero. To make it safer just means to make it less dangerous.
Okay, let me put it this way again. What do
So,
they
like,
need? What do they need to regulate it?
I don't know. I've never engaged in this specific.
What do you think? What do you think the government needs in order to regulate anything?
Laws.
Okay, and what is the entitlement of laws?
What is the what of laws?
The entitlement.
I think Emmett was saying entailment, but you know, with the accent, it comes out as entitlement. So I think that's where he was getting confused.
Break a law, what happens?
You go to jail, you get a fine.
And what do they use to get you to jail?
Just what do you get your?
Yeah, they use force. So in both cases, they're using force. You need force to regulate them, and you need force to eliminate them. So if if the government is so incompetent to use force to eliminate them, why would I believe that they can use force to regulate them?
Because that's already how the world works. It's much easier to regulate something than it is to eliminate it.
I don't think so. I think it's way harder to actually regulate. Imagine that somebody gets HIV,
so,
and how exactly is the government going to be able to regulate that person from engaging in the only activity that is able to sustain that person?
What is the connection between getting HIV and so you're saying this person is getting HIV from prostitution?
Yeah.
Okay, and so that is, again, that's already a risk of as equality is saying, fornication in general. So that is that is an inherent risk that you're taking. Just like when you drink alcohol, there's an inherent risk that you get impaired, that all these things. So what I'm talking about is we have laws like you can't drive drunk. That makes it safer for alcohol to be in society than if you were allowed to drive drunk. Agreed?
No.
So you think it would be safer in America if we allowed people to drive drunk? I would think
that at this point it's safer that we have certain regulation with alcohol, because the opposition was not possible due to a culture. Okay, we like alcohol, it's impossible, but we have a bunch of things in place for people to be able to drive and try to keep the peace. We have a bunch of officers that go out at night just verifying any kind of weird behavior when it comes to.
How's it going, Red Eye? Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna check in on the whatever podcast at 5. I saw your question earlier. I was gonna answer it after, and yeah, there is a Jake Rattlesnake debate today at 6, I believe. 6 my time, 9 Eastern time. But I'm probably gonna check it out. Not on the stream, but I'll probably review it tomorrow.
To driving, they can pull you over. They ask for your driving license. They have a bunch of tests in order to do that. What do we have? Prostitution cops running around there with their HIV?
Exactly, precisely. Yeah.
Okay. Can we? I want to know if this is true, because I don't think that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, of course that's not what's happening. Like, yeah, it's not the same. Like, you can't regulate the prostitution the same way as alcohol. And even so, like, he's kind of ruining his own point. So he's saying, yeah, but look, alcohol is legal, but we regulate it. Yeah, but there's still a shitload of people that drive drunk and kill people in DUIs. Like, even when it's regulated, there's still a lot of accidents and drunken, just a lot of accidents that happen with alcohol and such. So it shows that his way of let's just regulating it, well, that wouldn't work either, because it goes to Emmett's point that, oh, okay, the government's not strong enough to make everything just banned outright. Oh, but it's strong enough to regulate it, and people are just going to listen to those rules. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But absolutely, we should keep prostitution illegal. It's just morally better. Yeah, it's harmful to the woman. It's harmful to the soul. It is just not a good thing. And when I hear people like this try to defend it or whatever, it just makes me think like, oh, okay, this guy this probably just wants his prostitution around, you know, like he probably just wants to engage in his debauchery, you know. But it's always lame when they try to resort to like, oh, but it's my personal freedom. That's just not how we do things in this country. Oh, yeah, okay. There's a lot of things we ban in this country. You know what I mean? We get a lot of things banned in this country. It's not something that's how do you say it? It's not something that's not it's not something that we don't do here. But it's so weird when like, well, but personal freedom, if a woman wants to do this and the man wants to pay for it, then what's the big deal? Yeah, okay, there's a lot of things that a person could consent to. That's not the basis for morality. Maybe for these people, because that's pretty much where they get it all from. Like, well, did both parties consent? Oh, okay, well then there you go. But no, it's not just about consent. It's about a higher power. It's about morality. What's immoral and what's moral. You know, so that's why it's good that Emmett asked him about the unaliving, because yeah, if someone gives their consent to have themselves deleted, does that make it moral? He says no, that doesn't make it moral, and they should get like a psychology check or whatever, blah blah blah. Well, oh, okay. So with that, that's immoral to him, but prostitution isn't immoral. It's just, it all comes down to my preferences pretty much. And his preferences, well, self-deleting bad, prostitution good. And that's why these people shouldn't be in charge of the country. But what did you guys think about how Emmett did? Leave a comment in the comment section below. Give this video a like if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you really liked it. Also, to subscribe to Emmett's channel, I'll have a link down to the full debate down in the description down below, along with the link to his channel.